Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to give you guys an update on the Juwel Rio 240 aquarium. It's an aquarium set that I've been using for more than a year. Actually, it's precisely 500 days now that I've been using this whole aquarium, and Juwel actually delivers everything. They deliver the lid, the lights, the aquarium itself, the frame, the cabinet, the pump, the heater. So everything you really need as a basic aquarium starter set is delivered, except for the fish and the plants, of course. And I've been using it for 500 days, and I must say I'm extremely satisfied with it. There are some pros and some cons, but overall, my experience with this aquarium has been extremely positive. And this video is mainly about the tank today. So usually I talk mostly about my fish and my plants, but today I want to mainly talk about the tank in the first part of the video. Then I also want to guide you guys through the fish and plants that I keep. And in the end, I want to talk about some pros and cons of this tank. And also in this video, you will learn how much this tank costs to set up and to run on a daily basis. Let's not waste any more time and start with the aquarium itself. I would say the aquarium itself, you can see it's a very high quality and I would say simple design. So you have this white design. You can also choose other colors on the website of Juwel. You can choose whatever you want. I think there are 3 or 4 colors available. I decided to go with this white color just because it's quite timeless, I think, and paired with this black rim and the black filter, I think it's just super timeless. I basically can use this tank for like 10 years now, and it will fit mostly every kind of apartment we move into. Since we also have a mostly white apartment, we decided to go with the white variant. It's I would say high quality, but still a very fair price for a product that was produced in Europe. So it's made in Germany, according to the website of Juwel. I don't know if every single part is made in Germany, but the main product, the tank and everything, is made in Germany, which I always appreciate because if you buy cheap, you buy twice. It's a German saying, and I think it applies to aquarium products especially. And Juwel has, as a brand, never disappointed me in the past. And also for this tank, this is absolutely valid. So I just Googled it. It's at the moment roughly 500 euros to purchase this aquarium in Germany. You can even find it for a little less, and that includes everything. It includes the tank, which is a 240 liter tank. That's roughly 63 gallons. It includes this whole cabinet down here, which is actually super good quality, I think. And you don't even need to include these typical mats that you have to put under an aquarium, these soft mats, to equally distribute the weight. You're actually not allowed to do that. So just put the tank as it is on that cabinet. It comes with the light, it comes with the lid, and it comes with the filter. And now I want to go through each of these parts in detail. So first of all, it comes with this high quality plastic lids. And these plastic lids are really nice because if we go closer to the lid, you can actually put them open. And wait a minute, I have to put my notes aside. Put them open the lid and easily remove the lid. Now let me just quickly put this on the ground here. And then if you remove the other lid or open that one, you can move the whole thing into the back. And this makes it super easy to trim plants. Watch out that you don't step on the on the lid. To trim plants. And as you can see, I have a lot of floating plants. I have a lot of fast growing plants in this tank. And having this lid removable and movable from one side to the other is just super easy and super user friendly. I will go to some of the downsides of this lid and of this whole tank in the end of the video. But let's first continue with the lid itself. So let's slide that part of the lid back in here quickly. So the next thing that is really nice about this lid is that you actually have this lid opening here. So with this Juwel branding, of course, this is not as nice, but it is what it is. You can actually pop that open with one hand super easily. and put this smart or automatic feeder, usually from Juwel, on it. Or you can also use any other kind of product. You can just put it right here, and then the food goes in there. And we frequently do this when we go on vacations. And this is actually really nice and really smart German engineering, I would say. I mean, it's basically just a hole, but it's still handy, and I really appreciate it when going on vacation, and my fish certainly also do appreciate it. So as I said, you can open the whole lid, you can remove the whole lid. I don't want to do this because it's actually quite difficult to do this with one hand. And this makes it easy to do aquarium maintenance. What is also delivered in the package is the light, or other lights. Let me quickly close the lid again so I can pop it open. And it comes with two lights actually off the shelf. They are also built by Juwel. You can see it's a two Juwel LED lights. It has one light called Day. I chose to put a day light in front, and the other one looks the exact same way. It's called Juwel LED Nature. And the Nature, I think it has a light spectrum that is more suitable for plant growth or for encouraging plants to grow. And the LED Day is a little bit of a brighter daylight, as the name indicates, and that really makes the aquarium glow. I mean, you can see the colors of these fish. They are beautiful by themselves, but the colors really pop when you have a look at the tank. And this is also because of the light of the tank, of course. They are 21 watts each, and are relatively low when it comes to energy consumption because they are LED lights. Then the next thing that is also in the package for 500 euros is the Bioflow internal filter. Now, this is a system that is super easy. We can also pop it open. You can see that it's a little dirty, and these stains, these calcium carbonate stains, also here on the light, they are naturally occurring when you have water with a high calcium content. Normal due to evaporation, it's still a little bit annoying. I don't want to clean it every 4 weeks because I don't really mind, because you don't really see it when you enter the room, but it's still a little bit annoying because it's just black. And of course you can see this kind of residues on a black background. It is totally sufficient, I would say. It comes with both with the whole filter material on the one hand side and with a heater, which is really nice. Let me quickly move the lid forward again and show you the inside here. So everything is nicely and tidy back here. So this is the actual pump that moves the water. Then you have the pond filter down here, and you have the heater here. So you only have two cables coming out on this side and one cable coming out of this side. And this is it. This is basically it. Super easy. I know it's not 100% clean, but it's a natural aquarium, and a bit of dirt never killed no fish, I would say. So it's absolutely sufficient. This Ecoflow pump, it's called Ecoflow 1000, has a quite low power consumption. And if you listen to it, you don't hear anything. So it's actually super silent, and we were rarely annoyed by the pump in the last 500 days. Sometimes it makes some weird crackling noises, but that's usually due to it being a little dirty. Then you just clean it because usually some snails are stuck in there or something. And then that's it. And that's the case for every filter, I would say. So totally normal. But there's one major downside with this filter, and I will come to that later in the pros and cons section of this video. Let me quickly put the lid back on. And as I mentioned, the pump, the filter material, and the heater are all within the delivery or within the package of this aquarium. And we have a 300 watt heater actually. It's called AquaHeat 300, and it slides right into the pump. So this distributes the heated water equally in the water, which is also smart design-wise, I would say. And it's also relatively cheap when it comes to electricity consumption. Then another thing is the cabinet that I actually really like. It is, in my opinion, a large enough cabinet. It also has a nice height, and it has this nice, I don't know how it's called, but the doors pop open. If you go a little closer, you can just tap it, and then the doors pop right open. And I actually use it to store my aquarium stuff, like my pipes and some other filter material and some stuff to draw pictures, actually. And usually, if you had an external filter, you could pop it into one of these cabinets. We just have our electricity and our internet router in there. But usually, this would be the space where you could store a lot of aquarium related products and so on. And it's also quite good build quality. And if you guys want, I can also create a video where I show how to set up this whole cabinet. It's actually super easy. I'm not a craftsman myself and not very good at these things, but even I managed to get it done. If you have normal electricity prices like we have in Germany, like 40 cents per kilowatt hour, you have roughly 40 cents of costs per day, which is equal to 140 euros per year of electricity costs for running this aquarium, which I think is quite normal actually. So let's say you buy this aquarium for the whole set for 500 euros and you have running costs of 140, you're looking at roughly 640 euros of costs for this whole tank without the fish and the plants, of course. And now I also want to go into what kind of plants I'm keeping in this tank. And I want to start all the way on the right-hand side here with this beautiful giant Vallisneria plants. They have been grown absolutely fantastically. At the beginning, when I got them, I was a little bit worried that they might be too delicate, but this has proven wrong. They are one of the fastest growing plants I've ever kept. Then, moving to the midsection, we have Limnophilia sessiflora plants. It's a very fast growing stem plant that I got from my brother-in-law, Tobias, and they've been growing very well. And then we have on the left-hand side a huge bush of dwarf hygrophila plants. I know some people wrote that they are not dwarf hygrophillas, but I googled it again. I think they are dwarf hygrophillas. And then we have some Cryptocoryne undulata here in the foreground. They don't grow too well in this tank. You cannot really see it at the moment, but usually there's a lot of shade from the upper plant layers, so they don't grow too well. That's because we have tons of floating plants in this tank. Now, I just removed most of them like a week ago. That's why there's not too many right now, but we have duckweed and we have Amazon frogbit floating plants on the top layer of this aquarium, which helps removing excess nutrients and keeps nitrite and nitrate levels in control. But of course, if they get out of control, they shade the whole tank. That's why I like to keep them in a more or less limited supply here. And now that we talked about all of the plants in this tank, I also want to talk a little bit about the fish and other inhabitants we have, about the invertebrates, the crustaceans, and the fish, of course, that we have in this tank. Again, let's start on the right-hand side of the tank. So we have some snails down here. These are not your average snails. These are actually Clea helena, or assassin snails, as they are called in the aquarium trade. These are predatory snails. They eat other snails, and they've done a really great job at keeping snail populations in control in this tank here. Then we have, of course, our cleanup crew, some Amano shrimp and also Neocaridina davidi shrimp. They have not reproduced in this tank so far. Amano shrimp cannot reproduce in freshwater only. And the Neocaridina davidi shrimp, I think there's just too many animals that eat the shrimplets when they are born. That's why they have not reproduced, but still they've lived in here for more than 400 days by now, and I'm very happy with that. Then we have our nerite snails. We have zebra nerites. You can see their eggs everywhere. If you are into very clean and very clear aquascapes, then probably assassin snails is not something that you should add because they keep scattering their eggs everywhere. You can see the little Amano shrimp chilling up here as well. And they keep putting the eggs everywhere, but they will never hatch because, again, just like for the Amano shrimp, they can only reproduce in salt water. Then we have our guppy fish and antler's life bearers. As you can see, they're everywhere. They have been living in my tanks for well over 10 years. I think it's 15 years by now, or 16 years even. And I've kept moving them from one tank to the other. And they are surface dwellers, and we will see that in the end of the video when we feed the fish. And then of course we also have our beautiful amber colored amber tetras. They are living in the mid-level or the midsection of the water. You will rarely see them on the top or on the ground. And then of course we also have these beautiful yellow phantom tetras with the typical phantom spot on their side and the red tail. And also the yellow color now comes out on their bellies and in their top fins, which is absolutely beautiful. Then we also have one animal that rarely seen during the day, which is the black coolie loach. I've added them roughly a year ago, I would say, and they were added because they eat smaller guppy fish, as you can see in this shot here from a video I did a while ago. You can check out the video, it's linked on the top right. And they're actually super cool fish. It's a pity that they don't show themselves that often anymore, but I guess that's normal if you have fish that are usually nocturnal. All right, last but not least, the part that probably people who are about to buy this tank are most excited for is the pros and cons. So what I really like is this removable lid. I've kept tons of aquariums. I think I had 20 aquariums in my life. And some aquariums come with a lid, some aquariums come without a lid. I actually like when they come with a lid. You cannot have plants that grow out of the tank, but the lid is an advantage. This is a pro point because the fish cannot jump out. And I have some species that tend to jump out, and this doesn't happen in this kind of aquarium. The downside of this tank is this bar here. I really don't like this bar. It is annoying when you are siphoning the water because you cannot go from one end of the tank to the other end of the tank. It is annoying when you are pouring water in, and it tends to get dirty. The reason why Juwel included it, I don't know. I only assume it's because of structural integrity. One of the advantages that this tank has is that you actually don't need to put a mat down here because it has this frame, but that's just probably also easier to build for them. They also don't need to take care with having extremely nice silicon down here because you cannot see it actually. So you have just this white bar here, which is totally fine. It looks super sleek, super modern, but that's probably the reason. Maybe there's another reason and you guys know it, please comment below. But that's something I don't really appreciate. Then, and this is the biggest thing, the biggest downside of this tank, the filter or the pump. The light, perfect. I would always go for that. My plants have been growing amazingly in this tank, so 10 out of 10. The filter, it has some downsides, I must say. The filter always gets this kind of white looking residue on it, which is a bit annoying. And maybe we can move this lid here so we can see the filter better. And the filter inflow is on this side all the way on the water line. And I've never had this before. And I asked myself, why would you build it that way? Until a friend of mine who is also an aquarist told me it's a skimmer. So it actually soaks in all kind of floating things on the surface. As you can see, that leads to floating plants accumulating here. And anytime the filter is loud, or not anytime, but 9 out of 10 times, that's because floating plants accumulate here. And this is really extremely annoying over time. And that's something that just doesn't go any other way. But if you want to keep floating plants, that's a huge downside, I would say. So I constantly have to remove floating plants out of the tank. Otherwise, the filter gets clogged over and over again. Another thing about this filter, I don't know if you can see it properly, but you can maybe see it on the side. It's this huge black blob on the one-hand side of the tank, which for me is a bit annoying. Just design-wise, it's not that appealing. I mean, it's on the side of the room that people usually don't look into the tank. But then on the other side, it's really annoying. And if you have a normal external filter, you would just have a pipe and an outflow, and you don't see it at all. And And this is the most important thing. You have much more power in an external filter. So I chose only to get very small fish, but still, because it's so many by now, because they keep reproducing, because they're very happy in this tank, I have tons of fish in there. And of course, they create fish poo. And some of it is consumed by the plants. This is why I have plenty of plants in there, but not all of it. So I have to siphon the tank every 2 weeks, I would say, or every 3 weeks at least. Otherwise, dirt starts to accumulate on the ground. And this is also due to the filter, because the filter has its intake up here and not like an external filter down there. This is one downside, and you cannot really remove it. I don't know how to remove it without breaking the glass or anything, or without breaking the filter. And this is really something that Juwel could have just simply designed differently. These are the major downsides of this tank. And other than that, I must really say I'm extremely happy with everything that we went through, with everything that we've covered. As I said, I really like the design. I really like the timeless design. Maybe one more downside. I told you guys that the cabinet is very easy to build and very easy to put together. One downside is that but that's probably not due to Juwel. That's probably due to me. That you have these gaps here once you set up the cabinet. Now, if you are someone who's super good at these craftsman shippy things and worry a lot about these gaps here, then this might be a little bit annoying to you. For us, it doesn't really matter, but it's sometimes it also doesn't really work here. And this is maybe a downside to some really hardcore design aficionados out there. And I think that's basically it. I actually really love this tank. I love this Juwel Rio 240 aquarium, the whole set. And this actually made me decide to get another Juwel Rio tank, a smaller one. I would get a larger one, but I'm a bit worried that our apartment will break. But I will get another smaller one, maybe the 100-liter version. And now, maybe the last part of this video, we can also take some time and feed the fish. I will just quickly get the food. And maybe you can film the fish while I'm doing that. So the way I usually feed them, I've been showing this in other videos. I give them some flakes for the surface feeders or eaters, the guppies, and the endless life bearers. Then I give them some granulate food and some pellets or tablets for the fish that feed on the ground. Now the light's turned off, but I can turn it back on. And the reason I'm feeding them this way at the same time is that every fish gets fed, basically. And now I can actually try to always evenly distribute it, as evenly as possible. And this might seem like a lot of food, but if we go from the top view to the side view, you will see that the food is gone in no time. And this is actually cool because the yellow phantom tetras that we've discussed before, they are mid-level feeders, and also the amber tetras are. And you can see that they take care of all of the food in the mid-level section. Then we have the guppy fish and the endless life bearers that are more like these surface hunters, and they take care of that. And now all the food is gone, right? And now, once all the food is actually gone, not all the food is gone, there's still a little bit stuck there, but most of the food is gone. And I already fed them today, so no worries. They will not be hungry during the night. Now something interesting will happen. So the tablets down here will be their next aim for the fish. And this usually takes some time. And as soon as the first females, usually the females are the first ones because I think they're a little smarter, just like with humans. As soon as the first females are there, the whole feeding frenzy goes to the ground, to the bottom. Nice. So now that our fish are fed and are happy, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you if you are about to buy one of the Juwel Rio tanks or aquariums, the Juwel Rio 240 or any other kind of aquarium from Juwel. And remember, this is not a sponsored video or anything. I actually really like the brand, and they didn't pay me a cent for that. I paid everything myself, and this is not a product placement. I actually really like it, and I usually turn brand deals down when I don't trust in the brand. But in this case, no one paid me, and I actually really like the products. I gave you an honest review. I don't like everything, but I hope I could paint an honest picture of this aquarium. And if it helps you in your buying decision, or if you just enjoyed the video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and maybe share this video with a friend. And this is also a point where I would like to thank my channel members, Ryder Cedric, JVP, Julius, Dottie, and Belgian Bucks, for your continued support, for being part of the Guppy Gang. This is actually very easy. Just sign up for it. You can cancel it monthly, and it really makes a huge difference for me as a small creator who has a full-time job. And if you enjoyed watching this video, I'm sure you would enjoy watching the setup video on this side or this new video on that side. And with that, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.